Hi folks, welcome to room 10. Just wanted to give you a quick little rundown on our classroom. Here's our classroom space where your students spend so much of their time every day. I just wanted to point a few things out to you, welcome you to the classroom. So here's my workspace right inside the door here, hiding behind the door. I tell you what, it's not too bad a state for a Wednesday afternoon. So some key things in our classroom that I just wanted to remind you or let you know about. Up the front here, next to my phone, right at the front desk here, this is where I tend to put all student communications as far as permission slips, forms, letters to parents, anything like that. So if any of your students are ever absent from school, if there's forms to collect, if there's any communication coming through via the office or to be returned to the office, this is where it ends up. So here are my library permission forms. Hopefully you guys have returned those, and there's a few other things ready to go out or who have come back in from students. Thank you for doing that. Along the way over here, just going to make a little plug here. I've got a box of tissues and a box of Pint of Clean wipes. I would love if you have the opportunity to donate a box of tissues or a container of wipes to the classroom. That's probably the thing that we burn through the most. So I know lots of the classrooms at the moment are begging for cleaning wipes and tissues, if you wouldn't mind donating any of those. In the corner over here, right opposite where we first came in, this is where I keep the lunch order box. So students, of course, are sticking their lunch order bags in there every morning. Our class actually collects all of these boxes and takes them down to the canteen every day. Don't forget though that you are able to order lunches online now using a credit card or any sort of electronic payment through the application. And I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there is an online canteen ordering function now at school. Directly below this is a ugly big yellow trolley. Now this is a lockable trolley and charging station for devices. So while we kind of do ask that the student devices that they're bringing to school in the Bring Your Own Device program are charged and managed properly, I do understand sometimes battery life isn't great. Other things happen during the general process of life, and for various reasons things aren't charged. So this lockable container is where student laptops, iPads, those kind of things will be stored when the students aren't using them or we're not present in the classroom, just so that they're safe, and also there's a facility inside those to charge them. Now all of the students have been given stationery for use in the year. Obviously it's fine if they have their own pencil cases and those kind of things, but we do have a little bit of stationery, coloured pencils, pens, rulers, rubbers, all of those kind of things that they would need immediately. Very lucky this year, I've got 2 PCs in the classroom. I'm hopeful that I'm going to get 2 more. Great for students who don't have devices or, for very quick use of a PC when others around the school, other resources around the school are being used. So we've got a couple in our class, which is awesome. Now, over here near the door where we came in, this is our class library area. Now, a couple of things going on here. Every week I borrow a bunch of books categorised for the students. I introduce the students to them, and each day I might read a chapter, or perhaps, excuse me, I might read 15 minutes from various books just to expose the students to different kinds of text. So I have a classic section. You see some books there like Oliver Twist and Little Women, Bryce Courtney's Power of One. I have a section that's based on text that is being made into movie, or perhaps movie that's been made into text, just to make a link for students in some things that may be popular. You see there's The Hunger Games there, I, Robot, Holes, Harry Potter, of course, very popular with the students. Some of those novels, such as The Hunger Games, you will see that it is from the special shelf in the library, and there is parent permission that's required for students to borrow those books. Underneath here I have a section for classmate recommendations. Pretty empty at the moment because we're only in our first week and I haven't had any of the students recommend novels to other students yet. Across the other side, I have a section on graphic novels. I'm a bit of a nerd and a big fan of Marvel and all kind of comics. So that's my favourite one, but also naturally engaging for some of those students that are a little bit reluctant to read, particularly boys. We find some good material there for them. I do a author study each week. This week I'm highlighting Anthony Horowitz. Always a great one to start with. Anthony Horowitz quite conveniently writes horror stories. So, that often appeals to these teenage readers. And what I love about Anthony Horowitz is that he writes some smaller, quick reads, like The Devil and His Boy, and then he has some other ones that are quite more mature novels like Snakehead and quite complicated, complex. Underneath, I have a teacher recommendation shelf where there's a few reads there that I'm recommending to students. I have a book there about Nelson Mandela. This is a hot one at the moment with the election of Donald Trump, but the making of a President Barack Obama. I'm actually looking at Chinese Cinderella and the Secret Dragon Society as a class novel this term. There's a bunch of other ones like The Goats, The Shiny Guys. It won the Older Readers Book of the Year in 2013. Some classics like Mao's Last Dancer and some different kind of things there for students to engage in, hopefully. And the last section I have in our class library is a number of books based on our inquiry study, which for this term is leadership. So I have a collection there of books about Australian leaders and leaders in other areas. Underneath our library shelves, you'll see here I've got a bunch of folders. These are the student folders. I've gone away from using student lockers this year. I just find the lockers become a place where they store stale sandwiches and a whole bunch of things they don't really want. So if I could, this one's Henry's. I'm going to have a look in here. So in these folders, I have set up a little plastic folder with a bunch of stationery, pens, pencils, rulers. Their maths book is in there. They then have an exercise book for their inquiry. They also have one for English. And you know what? Henry's is not there because he has English homework tonight. He's a good boy. I appreciate that. So look, this setup here like this, what I'm really trying to do for our middle school students, for these Year 7 students, is I'm trying to help prepare them for high school and managing their work and their resources through high school. And that tends to be a popular way through those ring binder folders to keep everything organised and everything together. Not so much like the bag, the chair bags or the student lockers, the student trays, all a little simple, I guess. But quite what's the word I'm looking for? Quite childish is probably not the right word, but I'm trying to make them more mature students and prepared for high school. The last couple of things I wanted to point out, we do have a first aid bag in here, so the students have access to that. There is sunscreen and also what do you call this stuff? Antibacterial hand sanitizer there for the student use. Really important through the winter when we start to get a few flus and coughs and colds, along with our antibacterial wipes, if anyone can donate some of those. Outside of our classroom is the Year 7 corridor. Now this is a shared space. I'll just show you this out here. So this is a shared space with the other Year 7 classes. We have banks of computers out here that students can use at various times. Obviously we have 3 classes that access these computers, so they're quite often in demand. There's some right down the other end down there too. There's a whole bank down there. In this area here we have a kitchen that students can use. We're negotiating a toasty day at the moment, a microwave there. The coffee machine, ignore that. That's my little guilty pleasure there. And a refrigerator if students need to refrigerate their lunches or any of that kind of stuff. So this area, we try and stay on top of it. We are working on a program, a reward program, to open up this area as a privilege to Year 7 students during lunchtimes. But naturally, I'd imagine like their own bedrooms, it gets a little messy at times. So we're on top of that, trying to make sure that everything is taken care of and they respect this area. Art supply stuff is right here outside the door. So look, that's a little brief overview, I guess, of our classroom, our space where your students spend all their time. Not a whole lot of stuff on the walls at the moment, just a few of my resources for assisting students in different things, but all ready to get some student work up there as soon as we get some things going on. If you're interested, this week we've spent a little bit of time talking about learning styles and teaching styles and learning spaces. So, you know, some of the things that the environments and the habits in which we learn best together. So that's been a focus this week. I look forward to seeing some of you at Acquaintance Night, and hopefully catch up to you regularly through the year. All the best. Bye-bye.